other side, viewers, we shift our focus to a trust being betrayed in another matter, this time in Bengaluru. Toddlers as young as 2 and 3 years old were stuffed inside a washing machine. Can you even imagine that? They were dunked in toilet bowls. They were locked inside bathrooms alone. They were sprayed with a toilet jet. They were punished because they were crying by the women who were paid to comfort them, look after them. The cruelty was inflicted at a daycare center inside Capgemini campus in India's IT capital. 5 monster nannies have been booked after being caught on camera. The daycare has been shut down and Bengaluru police have launched a full-scale investigation. But this is not a story about one daycare or one FIR. This is a story about the heartbreaking betrayal. If this country cannot guarantee safety to 2 and 3-year-old children, then every other promise made by lawmakers means absolutely nothing. Thank you very much for joining me on the Newshour, Khushbu ji, and I want to discuss this issue, horrific issue in Bengaluru, where small children, toddlers, 2-3-year-old children in a daycare center at HAL's, within that campus at the Capgemini working place. I mean, the manner in which videos have come out that these kids were being put into a washing machine. They were being, sprayed with water from the toilet jet. These women that were taking care. It's such a horrific story that shakes your soul that I want to ask you, are there any rules, regulations, oversights? How can an incident like this happen in a city like Bengaluru?
I think it's just that we can blame the people who are working there. Everybody needs, when there's a daycare center or old age home, you need people who are sensitive. They should be sensitized. Unfortunately, the people who find work, they are so overloaded. All they need is to make money and go back home. They are zero sensitive. They have zero empathy or sympathy towards anyone. I don't want the parents to feel guilty about it, because in today's times, it's important that both the partners work to make a family run or to give a good education to their children and look after the family. They have their own commitments. It's just that when a team is hired to look after these toddlers, we need to understand, are we hiring the right people? What experience they have? Do they have? Because all these people who I see who, torture the young kids, young minds like this, or even what the video came out earlier about one Anganwadi where one worker kicked one child. Action was taken, but then you're keeping the person back. Who is accountable for this is what the question is. And if this video had not surfaced, if somebody had not filed a complaint with the police anonymously, I don't think we would have even heard about this. This torture, this abuse would have continued for many more days to come.
But Khushbu ji, I want to ask you, are there lack of legal safety measures that exist? Or is it that such centers that are meant to help working couples in bringing up kids? Where is the lacuna? Where is the gap? Is it the quality of people that are being hired, or is it the lack of strict enforcement of the legal provisions?
Both. When you hire someone, you have to make sure, that's why I said you have to make sure the kind of people you're hiring. Just because you need someone to take care of children, you just can't hire Tom, Dick and Harry and pick up somebody and say, okay, you come and work here and this is what your pay is. All you have to do is look after the children. The people who run the daycare center with these toddlers, they should be held accountable. The people who have been looking after the children, they should be held accountable because they have been abusing the children. And those who hire, who runs the daycare center, the parents leave their children there in their care. It's like any other school. You go to school and parents leave you in school as young minds. that, okay, we just hope that the children are safe there. These young kids as young as 2-year-old who probably don't even know how to speak. If they go home and complain they're crying, a parent might think that it's a colic pain for the child, and the mother and the father, they'll be worried as to why my child is crying, because they don't know what the horrific scene or the atmosphere the child has been through. So the people who hire such caretakers should be held accountable, and they should be punished, including those who were there, the women who were taking care of the children. We saw the horrific videos. The toddlers are locked. The water has been put in their mouth through the toilet jet. I mean, how unhygienic and inhuman it is. You just don't do it to your human being. Even our pet dogs, we take care of them. They are young toddlers. And how can you even find... It's kind of a sadistic pleasure they find.
But the question I want to ask you, Khushbu ji, the question I want to ask you is that the National Commission for Women, of which you've been a part, came out with the regulations in 2024 for daycare centers, for creches to follow. Yet an incident like this happens. It happened in Bengaluru. It could have happened in any metro, in any city. It is not the place that really matters. I just want to ask you, what are the gaps? What can we as a society do to plug these gaps? Because as it is, the percentage of women working today in corporate India are just, the percentage is embarrassing. Will such incidents make it even more difficult for young mothers to go back to work?
Absolutely. It's going to make it very, very difficult, because they don't know who to trust. They don't know whether they can leave their child behind in somebody else's care and work with absolute mental peace. So it is going to reflect. And we still live in an old age society where the mothers are going to be blamed. That if you had to stay back home, the child wouldn't be in a daycare center. I'm saying a woman has to open her wings wide open and fly high. It's not her responsibility alone to look after the child. It's the father's responsibility also. So we need to break the shackles here. We need to break the barriers and say that it's a responsibility of, if the father can work, a mother also can work, and she should work. Looking after the house, looking after the children alone is not her responsibility. And here we see the children who are in the daycare center. It's about a couple who want to give a better life to the entire family. And there's nothing wrong in a couple deciding that both the parents have to work. So it is going to reflect. I think the gap that you're talking about is between the NCW and the State Commission. Till this, and unfortunately, NCW, though it's an independent thing, until unless a complaint doesn't come to them, they cannot act on their own. And I have been part of NCW. So you can't act on your own. The complaint has to come. So somebody has taken a complaint, filed a FIR, sent it to the police, and it has gone to NCW. But then the gap between the State Commission and the National Commission is vast. Here, when I was a National Commission member, the kind of gap I have seen between Tamil Nadu and, because there's nobody accountable. Nobody talks, nobody wants to take it up, nobody follows it up with the police station. FIR is filed. Nobody goes to the police station and asking that this was the case, what happened, why this has not been taken forward, what is the outcome of this case. We had filed a complaint, all the papers have gone to you, what have you done? There's no accountability, and I can vouch for that. And I'm not going to sit in front of the camera and lie that no, it's perfect, it's a great harmony. No, there's no harmony. So we need to seal the problems, the leaking problems we have between the NCW and the State Commission, and we need to work with the police who have equal responsibility. And until
do you think the implementation of the law itself?
I don't think
the implementation of the law itself also somehow isn't a deterrent, because even today the 5 women working at this daycare center, they've been booked, but nothing further, because the police is still verifying the videos. The videos are out there. The parents must be shattered. Those children have gone through the abuse, but investigation will take its own time. Is there enough of a deterrent?
Yes, this is what I'm saying. that NCW cannot act on its own. You can file a complaint, you can tell the police to work, but the police have to work fast. They don't. I mean, there's a video out, there is an evidence, there are women who are there in the pictures, but yet the police will take its own time to work on it, to look into it. Now they will have pressure from somebody. The company who is run by someone will be affiliated or attached to someone, XYZ. All these issues come up, Navika. You know, I think until unless you say that when there is an abuse, you have to act immediately. You cannot sit back and say that I am going to explore. What else evidence you want? The child is locked. The child is put in the front load washing machine. The child has been sprayed with the toilet jet, a water jet in the mouth. We hear the cries. There are pictures of the women in the video. You see the faces of the women. Yet you want to explore. Yet you want to make sure the things. I mean, imagine the plight as a mother. My daughter just got married 5 days back, but I still feel there's one scratch on her body, and I go through hell. Imagine mothers and the parents of a young child who do not even know how to express the pain or the torture or the abuse they are going through. Imagine what a parent goes through. But here we will continue to sit back and say, no, I have to finish my investigation. Why? We have state commission, we have NCW, we have the police, yet the gap will continue until unless you don't have strict laws, until unless you don't work in harmony, and until unless you say that we have to learn to call a spade, we will not go. This is not going to change, and this kind of abuse will continue. This is the first video. We do not know how many more care centers have been, abusing the young minds. We don't know. So we'll have to wait and watch. Absolutely. Somebody else will have the courage to take a hidden video and
Capgemini.
Upload it.
And Capgemini, a company that ran this daycare center, has just put out a statement that they are shutting this daycare center down. They have the utmost respect for health and security and blah, blah, blah. And that's it. I just want to ask you, is this enough accountability, enough responsibility?
No. Every time no, definitely not. When you run a daycare center, every person, I'm like, when you hire someone, when you're applying for a job, your qualification is asked. How do you qualify to get a particular job? In Capgemini, when they hire people for their companies, do not they run the complete details, their qualifications, the work experience, even then a letter from someone that, okay, this person has done so well. I mean, all these things. Why is it that in a daycare center, you just pick up anybody, XYZ, and say that, okay, just come because we need an ayah to look after the children? No. It's a great job. It's a great job. People have to understand that in a daycare center, you need someone who is going to help the children to grow and bloom, not somebody who is there just to change their diapers or to stuff food in their mouth as per their wish. No, you need someone, some accountability, and I will definitely hold Capgemini also accountable, because if you run a daycare center, you have to make sure the kind of people you hire and what kind of people you hire, because that is extremely important.
Well said. At the moment, we are still waiting for that accountability to really be seen. At the moment, what we are seeing is a horrific incident that has taken place, and this could be happening in anybody's backyard in any part of India. Are we doing enough to keep our daycare centers, to keep our toddler schools absolutely safe for these children? It's a big question, big lacunae. Will we only wake up to lament when incidents like these come up and then forget about them? Or will we really as a society wake up and do something which is scientific, which requires legal sanction and deterrent? That is the only way to probably run a tight ship. We leave it at that, but at the moment, my heart goes out to those parents and those young toddlers. And to all those working women who are thinking about how to go back to work. And not just women, maybe men as well, but how to go back to work if daycare centers cannot be depended upon. Thank you very much, Khushbu, for joining me on the News Hour tonight. With that, it's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Good night, be safe, and just pray that our children stay safe wherever they are.